what really stands out in your work for me is how you link technological innovation with the political economy of mobility, showing that borders are not just physical spaces, but systems of data, capital, and governance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you see your book challenging or enriching the existing theories of migration and development?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, migration has been an important topic, of course, in all parts of the world. So it's not just from global south to north. This is something that is discussed, but there is a very big migratory movements within Africa or within Asia. People are moving from one country to another. So everybody isn't coming to the global north. This is not an issue. But there are so many discussions about migration, and migration is important for the local economies or the niche. So that's something, in positive or negatives, we can link or we can list these kind of issues. But I think these technologies, surveillance technologies, are providing such a power to capitalism or power holders, governments, to control the labor movements and international division of labor. So if you are so based on the profits or the expectations of the capital owners in different parts of the world, you can see different types of migratory movements. So if you are a peasant in Nepal, you can easily get a job in Dubai and work in construction industry. It's very easy. And with technologies, you can apply and get a visa and ticket and go and work and then send your money back. You can speak with your families, etc. But if you are a PhD student from Nepal, it's very difficult to come to Oxford. So many obstacles, so many. So they even you have to spend so much money, spend so much time. So because there is no such an expectation from people in Nepal to be high skilled or tech guys or academics. If you are a medical doctor or nurse or software developer in Turkey, you can easily come to the UK or Europe to work. So you can see, or if you are, for example, a Filipino lady, you can easily go and work in domestic work. So it's very easy to control these kind of mobilizations and invite people and mobilize them from one place to another. But if you don't want any people from specific skills and nations, you can easily stop them. So in my study, in my book also, I try to show, for example, there are millions of refugees and informal migrants in Turkey from Syria, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and they are coming to the country from east, Iran border, and then there are technologies there, but they can pass, they are allowed to pass, but they are still informal, they are not registered, and then they can easily find jobs in textile and agriculture. And these are producing for high street brands, Marks and Spencer, H&M, and these kind of brands, Gap, in the world, US and European brands. And it is in advantage of the Turkish capitalists because they find cheap labor. They cannot claim any rights. They work in slavery conditions. And it's good for European and US textile garment brands because they can easily get whatever they want in a very short period of time, high quality and very low cost. But when these millions of people, when they want to go to Europe, they are stopped. They cannot go. All these technologies are stopping them to go. And there are so many agreements. So then this is not related to the only migrants' rights. It's not just related to the right to seek asylum when people have these kind of rights. But now in the systemic level, nobody cares about that. And when you have to leave your country as a result of an humanitarian emergency, war, or climate crisis or another issue, your fate is depending on your nationality and your skill sets and where your labor force is needed. I think these technologies and surveillance technologies have this great impact on deciding on the international division of labor and they can act in a very global level. I think this is, in capitalism there has been always a control mechanism. Control has been always important. People were put in factories, they had to work under discipline. But now with these technologies, there is a much more power to control and mobilize and surveil people.
Just a point there. So also just to follow up, there's something that stands out. You suggest that humanitarian and development organizations such as UN, World Bank, and IOM are shifting from traditional aid providers to data-driven governance institutions. How do you see this transformation affecting the way migration and development are managed today?
That's a very important question, and now I think we can see its impact more clearly. When the US cut all the support to the aid humanitarian organizations, and when we observe that the United Nations are avoided to work freely in Gaza, for example, in Palestine. Okay, we don't need these UN agencies, and this is I think the first time we can see such an approach. Okay, this is the organization we created, and this is I think, but this is a kind of a story behind this, because these humanitarian organizations are dependent on the donor money, because they should get money from US, Norway, UK, and in order to attract donor money, they have to show something very attractive. So technology is a very attractive thing, and I will say, okay, I will send money to Kenya with blockchain. It takes attention. And then if you work with an American blockchain technology company, that's much better. If you work for an AI company, but you don't really discuss if people need blockchain there or not, if it is good for that area or that. So this started like in the last 10-15 years, but humanitarian organizations have been working and operating for over 100 years. But they are not dependent, but now they are dependent. And when they take this donor money, when they get these grants, they have to work with technology companies, because they are not technology companies. They have to find a tech company for AI and data collection. So we also see many Silicon Valley companies are investing in Microsoft, Palantir. They are investing in these humanitarian areas. So they are providing digital infrastructure for World Food Program and other organizations, because they say they have to deal with like 100 million people. So you should have a big tech infrastructure to control the delivery of the system. But then you are also dependent on this, because you cannot control, and you don't know what happens with the data when you collect data from Yemen, for example, or from different countries. So and there is no regulation, there is no control, there is no auditing mechanism. So it's kind of a very productive lab for tech companies to test their products. So I think it started in this way, and then these people, humanitarian organizations who are working on the field trying to help people, they began to collect data. So they became to act as a data providers, data suppliers to tech companies. So an American company don't need to send anyone to Yemen. These humanitarian organizations they give digital identity to everyone.